and welcome to Maryland Beta's presentation on creating community online during a virtual semester. My name is Elizabeth and I am the president of the Maryland Beta chapter.
My name is Justin Hughes and I'm one of the initiation co-chairs for this semester.
And I'm Amelia Cherian and I'm one of the community co-chairs.
When we set out to plan our fall semester, we had a couple of goals in mind. The first was to make sure that every member had the opportunity to meet requirements through a fully virtual set of events. This is in the case that people are staying home, living far away from the university, or they just don't feel comfortable meeting in person. The second is to continue to build community within the organization. Initiates are the future of our chapter, especially since we only recruit from upperclassmen. If we miss a full semester of recruiting, that is a huge loss in our active membership. In addition, if we do not continue to have active events going on for our members, many of them will stop attending, and when we eventually come back to campus, will no longer be as active as they used to be. We need to keep up engagement as best as possible. In order to do this, we need to make sure we have clear communication with our members. This means sending regular emails and announcements through multiple different platforms from our officer board so each member knows exactly what is going on. We also are being careful to post common Zoom links to a common space through chapter website, the GroupMe. Our chapter is going to be heavily using Discord this semester, or whatever other platform is most applicable to your chapter. Finally, safety. Obviously, during a pandemic, we need to prioritize the health of our members. This means extremely limiting or outright banning in-person events in different situations, and as well as being very restrictive, and in our case, totally banning shared spaces like the lounge that we have in the engineering building on campus. The first type of event that we needed to adapt to a virtual semester were our general body meetings. GBMs are really important because they allow you to introduce members that maybe only attend social events to the different offerings your organization has, such as community service and initiation events. We think it is very important that they have an interactive element so members feel like they are an active part of the Tau Beta Pi community, and we also try to incentivize attendance so as many people as possible make sure they show up. Now, last spring, as information was rapidly coming out and people's plans were rapidly changing, we wanted to make things as easy as possible for our members. So we had our GBMs be asynchronous. Each month, we would send out a Google Slides with all the information, and members would complete a quiz within 48 hours to make sure that they had read over what was in the slides. However, there's no active part of this format. So this semester, we are bringing back a live event through having a virtual Zoom GBM. We understand that many members will have time conflicts and will not be able to attend, so we will still be sending out the slides and Google quiz for those who cannot attend to complete. However, in order to incentivize attending the live Zoom, we will be giving points that go towards a required total for active members to all those who attend.
Talking with people is one of the best ways to build community, and we've attempted to reflect this in our initiate interviews process. Giving initiates the chance to have one-on-one conversations with other initiates, as well as current members, helps them foster a sense of community and a sense of belonging within Tau Beta Pi, as well as become familiar with how our organization functions. In the past, we've included requirement for initiates to spend a certain length of time within our lounge at UMD. In-person interaction would be nice, but to stay as safe as possible, we've shifted to a virtual model where initiates will still have the opportunity to have conversations with their fellow initiates, as well as current members via Zoom. One of the other fun activities that we have initiates complete is the creation of their own bent. Being the symbol of Tau Beta Pi, the bent is extremely important. So through having initiates take the time to make an artistic representation of the bent, whatever medium they choose, oftentimes including food, they have the opportunity to not only display their creative thinking, but also learn more about the ideals of integrity and excellence in engineering that the bent represents. This event was slightly easier to translate to an online setting. The initiates will still have the opportunity to create their own bent, but instead of getting together in person to show off their creations, we'll host a virtual bent party where everyone will still be able to share what they've done. Of course, we can't accept food-based submissions due to the pandemic, but other than that, the custom bent design and display process remains largely the same.
Right. So for our community service this semester, we're requiring our members to do 5 points of community service, which is around an hour of work. In order to plan for these events, we looked at what we've done in the past, and we also sent out a survey so that we could understand what our members' goals were for the semester. And all of this to make sure that we're adapting to the new circumstances as best as we can. So for our community service in our previous semesters, they were all in person. We've done dog walking, we've done arboretum, which is where we're going to green spaces on our campus and cleaning them up. We've made sandwiches and also volunteered at organizations that support the local homeless community. So many of these are impossible this fall because our members aren't on campus. So the members that aren't on campus, they wouldn't be able to participate in these in-person events even if they wanted to. And for those members that are on campus, some of these events are at locations that are somewhat far away, and usually we would carpool to them. But that's just not an option that's feasible this semester. So we knew we had to find alternatives. We sent out a survey so we could make sure that we understand what our members' situations were and how willing they were to participate in in-person events. And the results of our survey were really helpful in helping us plan out what we wanted to do this semester. So more than half of our members were willing to participate in in-person events, and actually about a third of them preferred to do an in-person event over a virtual event. And so we knew we had to incorporate in-person events into our schedule. And we also learned that half of our members were not on campus, so we knew that we had to give a virtual option and make sure that it was flexible so that people who weren't on campus or didn't have the time to do a scheduled virtual event could fulfill their requirements. So the way that we adapted to all of these new situations was we reached out to local organizations to see how they have adapted to COVID-19. Arboretum was a very promising in-person event that we wanted to do because they're putting in social distancing guidelines and making sure that there's a safety monitor who's making sure everybody's wearing masks and staying 6 feet apart. We also wanted to try out new virtual activities. We did some research and found some apps that were very good social community service events. And we're doing a transcribe-a-thon, which is where we're going to be transcribing historical documents in partnership with the Smithsonian. We're going to be doing online tutoring and a letter writing event. And so we're trying to increase the flexibility of fulfilling the requirements this semester because we know that people are in difficult situations or might not be able to do as a scheduled event. So some of these virtual events are ongoing events and members can just do them on their own time. And we also want to make sure that our member safety is of the utmost importance. So we're making sure that whatever in-person events that we do, that we're planning ahead and making sure that nobody's being put in a dangerous situation. For Arboretum, like I said, there's a designated safety monitor, masks are required, and there are people are making sure that they are staying 6 feet apart. For our letter writing event, we're planning on having it in an open space so that people can see each other from a distance, but still have that sense of community. We're going to be using gloves to hand out materials such as the construction paper and pencils. And we're going to make sure that there are designated stations so that people know where to submit their work and there is a good workflow.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to our presentation. You can contact us through our emails or follow us on Instagram.